Well, welcome back, folks, and this will be training number 2. My name is Bill Omi, and I'll be your host today. I'm a real estate investor and a member of the National Real Estate Investors Group. So, I'm also a professional engineer, and I've been doing real estate investing for 15 years. Now, I've done over 100 deals, but when I started, the only way to learn about real estate investing was books, CDs, seminars, courses. So I've taken a whole bunch of them. I've done the Carlton Sheets program, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Ron LeGrand. There's plenty of gurus out there. The problem was it never gave me enough information. I had to struggle to learn real estate investing. So I actually had joined the National Real Estate Investors Group in 2014 because I wanted to expand my business. I had outgrown my mentors, and as most of you know, in 2008, it was a crash. Well, my business was booming, and I wanted to learn more, and I didn't have any support system. So I got with the National Real Estate Investors Group to get some more education and coaching. And as I watched my classes, I started to realize I didn't know what I didn't know. There were huge amounts of information that I just didn't understand. And I found out that I wasn't really as good as I thought I was. I was more lucky. And that was a real eye-opener. So, let's do a little training that I have seen and I've learned from this group. We talked our last training that what you focus on is what you get. We talked about how wealthy people and poor people look at life. Now, I don't want to go over this all again. If you want to see it, you can go watch training number 1. But let's go through sort of a summary. Wealthy people operate out of abundance and opportunity. Poor people operate under scarcity and fear of loss. Now, what this means is if you operate where the wealthy people operate and you do what wealthy people do, you can help others. So once you've taken care of your own needs, now you can help your family, your community, your church. You can help charities, right? You might actually want to build hospitals or schools or some other thing that helps society because you can. Poor people, on the other hand, can barely take care of themselves, right? How many people you know that are in the poor people category that they're always broke, they're always struggling, right? They have to take 3 jobs to keep ends meet. Their kids are struggling, they're fighting with their spouses, all those things associated with scarcity and fear of loss. So the question is, which way are you going to go? Now, one part I want to really emphasize, we talked about the government and taxes. That 50% of your efforts, if you don't understand the tax code, if you don't understand wealth creation, that over your lifetime, 50% of your efforts will go towards paying state, federal, and local taxes. Over half. So let's look at taxes for a second. This is tonight's training number 2. It's called an income tax. It's an income tax. It's right in the name. So let's look at the income tax. Since your number 1 expense in your lifetime is taxes, we just went over that. We tax income in this country. We don't tax wealth. This is huge, right? Most people never get this. And we don't tax the rich. We don't tax wealthy folk. We tax high income earners. Those are the people that want to be wealthy folk. Now, the wealthy folk are already wealthy, right? They don't get income. They already have wealth. So what happens? The rich people don't get taxed, but the people trying to become rich, those are the ones who get taxed. So let's look at how this plays out. Now, our long-term goal should be to create wealth, not income, because if we create wealth, the wealth will create the income. Now, this is what poor folk do. Poor folk, they concentrate on income. They're working by the hour. They have a job. They're a W-2 employee, so they create lots of income. Well, therefore, they pay lots of taxes. And what's ever left over, and usually there's nothing left over, but if there's anything left over, that's what's available to create wealth. Now, wealthy folk, they know a different system, and they teach their kids a different system. They limit their income. They limit their income, that limits their taxes, and the bulk of their effort, most of their effort is spent creating wealth. You see, they understand how the system works. So here's the bottom line for today's training. If you create wealth without creating income, there's no tax. Do you see? It's like the express lane to wealthydom here. If you create wealth rather than income, there's no tax. Now, how does this work? Let me give you an example. Bill Gates and Microsoft. So Bill Gates creates this company called Microsoft, and he sells off 80% of it to the public, but he keeps $20 billion worth of stock. That's 20 billion with a B, okay? How much taxes does Bill Gates pay on that $20 billion worth of stock, which is wealth, right? It's an asset that spins off income. How much taxes does Bill Gates pay on the 20 billion? The answer is zero. 20 billion in wealth, zero in taxes. Because we don't tax wealth. Now, if Bill Gates draws a salary as CEO, let's say he makes $100,000 a year. Yes, he's going to pay taxes on that income. But Bill Gates doesn't care about his salary. He could work for $1 a year. It's irrelevant to wealthy people. Now, how does it work for you and me? Well, you and me, we can do the same thing with real estate. So you're working with our group and you learn how to find assets at a deep discount. So you buy a piece of real estate worth $100,000 and you buy it for $25,000. And folks, it happens all the time. So you just, at the closing table, you buy that $100,000 asset for $25,000, you've just created $75,000 worth of equity. Equity is wealth. With the stroke of a pen, not only have you created $75,000 in equity, but you've quadrupled your wealth. You've just gone from $25,000 to $100,000 guaranteed. Do you see? Now, how much taxes do you pay on that $75,000 worth of equity that now goes on your balance sheet? That's right, zero. The rules are the same for you and the wealthy. It's just you're not tuned into it. You're not playing by them. So why is this so, right? Why is this so, Bill? This sounds totally unfair. It's not unfair. Wealthy people write the tax laws, right? Your politicians, your Senate and your House of Representatives. In 2012, the last numbers I could find, their total family wealth was $5 billion. They're very interested in protecting wealth. They don't much care about their income. So let's take a look at this. If I was to get elected Senate and I went up there and I said, hey guys, let's tax wealth. We can tax everybody's wealth 5% a year and we'll have plenty of money to run the country. Do you think that the politicians who have hundreds of millions of dollars in wealth are going to think that's a great idea? Do you think the folks that got them elected that are even wealthier, do you think they're going to think it's a great idea? Do you think Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are going to say, yes, let's tax my $20 billion 5% a year? Of course not. They're going to say, that's a really bad idea, Bill, and if you mention it again, you're going to be a one-term senator, you'll never get any legislation through, and you'll be a footnote on the political landscape. That's the conversation that takes place because they don't want to tax wealth. But they'll all get up there at election time and talk about how they're going to soak the rich, right? We got to tax those rich people. And the rich people are laughing all the way to the bank. So this is the story for today. You've got to understand how we tax in this country. We don't tax wealth, we tax income. And the secret is hidden in plain sight. You've called it an income tax your whole life and you never probably put this together. And folks, don't feel bad. There's MBAs, CPAs, there's people that do financial planning who've never really put this together. But now you know because you're working with us. So what are you currently focusing on? Okay, now, if you find this interesting, if you start thinking like we're thinking, take the next step. For more information and to begin our 3-step candidate selection process, contact Mike Harrington, who's the CEO of the National Real Estate Investors Group. Mike's phone number is listed on the screen, as well as his email address. Take advantage of what we're doing here, okay? Learn what you need to know to become wealthy. Okay, the wealthy people understand the rules. If you want to be wealthy, you need to understand the rules too. So take the next step, get in our 3-step candidate selection process. And my name is Bill Omi. I've been your host, and I hope to be working with you soon. So thank you for your attention.